Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago. Well, signs of sexual harassment may not be that obvious. Therefore, it is important to look for these signs and to stay alert. Joining us on set is Adriana Sandrine Rattan of the International Women's Resource Network to help us identify some of these signs and provide us with information on taking the necessary steps. We're also talking about domestic violence. It continues to be an issue here in Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So we continue to have stories about domestic violence, even among the very young, boyfriend and girlfriend, not even in a marriage relationship or common law relationship. Why are we continuing to have these issues?
Well, Winner, we continue to have these issues because many couples, and this is based on our work at the IWRN, many couples continue to have challenges in managing their intimacy, managing their relationships, not understanding or misunderstanding the difference between love and obsession. And once you miss those signs, or once you don't understand what those signals mean, they would escalate and turn into violence. I mean, look at most recently, we had the unfortunate death of Christine Chunising.
Yeah.
Christine was laid to rest just over a week ago, and I spoke at that funeral. Christine had like over 540 mourners at her funeral. A lot of young people there, and they were shedding tears. And so Christine's death was as a result of obsession. Christine's ex-lover, he didn't love her. She thought he did. But he was just obsessed over her. And I'm using Christine's death as and I said at a funeral that we would really like Christine's death to be the last. She's the 13th woman to be murdered in this country for the year 2018. But that could only be a reality if women and men become more responsible in terms of managing their issues and live their truths. A lot of women and men continue to mask their reality. They continue to live in a bubble every day. If there is a problem in the relationship, you need to confront the problem. You cannot ignore it, and you do your makeup sex and you do your makeup dinners and assume that it would go away. And this is the major challenge that we are having. The other thing that we are having, Werner, is that we would have some clients coming to us for support. They would provide us with the details of their issues. And when our team starts working with them, they sort of pull back, and sometimes you don't hear from them again. When we start to dig deeper into their situation, they pull back. And that is unfortunate. It means that you think in your mind that you have the answer to your problem, but you don't.
Is it that we lack communication skills?
Lack of communication skills in relationships, that is a real issue. People need to communicate, and again, communicate truthfully, even if the truth may not be one that is acceptable to either party, but that is the only way. I mean, we hear the conversations about the statistics with regards to violence. We also hear the conversations that the state need to be more involved, and we also hear the conversations about the protection orders. We join those conversations, but our organization, what we have been doing is working from back end in terms of trying to deal with the preventative measures that could assist couples, assist people in terms of living and coexisting in a way that, you know, there will be harmony and there would be love.
Okay, so let's look at some signs. If you're in a relationship, what are some of the signs that you look for to know that this person has violent tendencies?
If you're in a relationship, one of the signs that is prevalent is 24/7 checking on you. Yeah. That is something that we are against it, we talk against it. If your partner, okay, so you leave your partner in the morning, you go to work, it's okay maybe during the day to do a check-in, babes, how you going, whatever. But this on the spot 24/7 texting to find out where you are, calling to find out where you are, that is unfortunate. It is unacceptable, that, and a lot of women think it is love. That is not love.
Wow. It's obsession.
It's obsession is a terrible sign. Having your partner check your phone is your private property. That is your privacy.
Wow, that was a big topic on the radio just recently, though. Talking about checking your phone, and if you're comfortable,
Yeah,
is it that they
yeah.
may think you have something to hide?
No, checking if you are checking your partner's phone, it means that the problem is with you, not with them, not with your partner. It's your problem. It's your insecurity that or whatever else
Yes.
you are doing outside of the relationship are influencing you to check your partner's phone. So that is something, no.
Right.
We have, Verna, we have had instances where women would complain to us, even in their domestic space, they were maybe in the bathroom, and if their partner is at home, he's checking to see what's going on in the bathroom, knocking yes, and those are the realities. And this is why I keep saying the IWRN is different. We deal with the realities in relationship. We are not about the flowery language. We deal with the realities. And when you come to us with the issues, we ask you, do you want your man? Do you want your woman? If the answer is yes or no, we would intervene to suit the response. If, for example, and this is something I said at Christine's funeral, and this is for the men, I'm talking to the men now. If for some reason your partner has rejected you, that in no way means that your manhood is affected. All it means is that your partner is now embarking on a new emotional trajectory, and is an opportunity for you, the man, to check yourself, see what went wrong, find new love, fresh perspectives. And I keep saying, have plenty fish in the sea. Maybe that fish is not for you, let it go.
Now, that's very easy to say, for somebody in a relationship.
But you see, it has to do with unlearning the way we think about relationship, the way a man thinks about the woman, the way a woman thinks about a man. I said, and I'm just going back to Christine's funeral, I said that you were not born with a man, you were not born with a woman. So it's about unlearning the way we think. If we start unlearning the way we think about relationships, the way we think about our partners, we would change the way we respond to negative things. You do not go into a relationship 100% positive. And this is another grave mistake. You go into the relationship all over each other, and when something happens, you can't do it, you can't deal with it, you feel to commit suicide. But you have to start from zero and build it from there.
Right, so you spoke about obsession, you spoke about some of the signs that you look for, but does that necessarily mean that the person has violent tendencies?
Of course it does. If you are in a relationship and there is anger, even in a response to something that you have asked, those are signs, those kinds of behavioral tendencies go way back to the way the person was socialized.
So somebody shouting at you, and those are all signs that this person could harm you physically.
Of course, of course. And sometimes we get reports of shouting for no reason at all. So those are the signs, and a lot of women accept those signs as, that is how he is. That is maybe how he is, but it's for you to do a rain check. Do I want to continue accepting that? You are in a space, you're by your family's home, you're out in a public space, and you're being embarrassed by this person who feels that he can talk to you however he wants to.
Now, it works both ways, both women and men.
This is what I'm saying for both women and men.
Yes.
But I'm saying that each person in a relationship need to do the rain check in terms of ensuring that respect is the first and foremost element in a relationship is respect. If respect is lacking.
Now, Ms. Ratton, working with all these people, I'm sure you probably would have connected some dots along the way and traced it back to some sort of psychological upbringing, some things that these people would have faced growing up.
Well, this is what I said earlier. A lot of the issues that land on our desks, when we do the research and when we dig deeper into them, it's from childhood.
So they were abused?
They may have been abused, sexually abused in their childhood, and it wasn't dealt with in terms of proper counseling. They may have been raised in a home where violence was the norm.
Shouting, that's their way of communicating.
Shouting, you hear your mother cursing your father and your father cursing your mother, and that kind of noise, unnecessary noises. affects people's psyche.
So knowing that this is the core, this is really the whole root of the thing, do we have any sort of approach that we take towards the family unit itself?
We would do some work in terms of counseling. We also refer them to Families in Action, because Families in Action, they work a lot with families. And we have different interventions to support, but the interventions would only work if, one, you acknowledge that there is a problem, and two, you're willing to be helped.
Now, I can imagine you being probably frustrated sometimes trying to reach out to certain individuals that come to you and say, well, I have a problem and I'm ready to leave this person because the relationship is just really bad. I'm afraid that I may be hurt. But then 2 weeks later, they're back with the person and you are left helpless. How do you deal with situations like that?
We try not to, we start at zero in terms of our work. Expectations are there, so those things don't frustrate us. And the police service also has the same kind of issue. You go to the police or you call the police and you indicate that you've been abused and you need some kind of police intervention. And when the police officer arrives, you would say, don't worry, I just want you to talk to him.
Now, we've had situations even in the news where reports were made, allegedly reports were made by individuals talking about restraining orders and that sort of thing. And then people were killed as a result. And the question is, so what did the police do?
That is a gray area. We are attempting to get a meeting with a team from the police service to discuss that particular issue as it relates to protection orders, as it relates to everybody, a meeting of the minds in terms of wanting the same outcome, because that kind of issue that you just raised there, they do have some gray areas in terms of, as I said, the report being made, the police, and yes, a lot of protocols involved, and yeah, we are attempting to make some headway in that regard. But at the end of the day, it boils down to, Verna, the parties wanting to get the resolution, the parties being serious about what they have asked for, and being willing to accept the consequences of the outcomes of that particular action.
So let's say somebody is in a relationship, they realize that their spouse has violent tendencies and they have identified some of the signs that you highlighted earlier, and they want to make this thing work. So they are seeking counseling, for instance. What are your thoughts on that?
No, we would provide the necessary counseling support for that particular family. And the thing is, even though I said those are the signs, some of them are workable, and some of them are salvageable in terms of making the relationship work. I mean, we had a issue in the West recently where this particular businessman, his spouse called and complained to us, and he was agitated and cursing, and it was a whole mess. But when we delved deeper, and we're still working with them, when we delved deeper, it was his job, because he has his own business and he's very successful.
Okay, so that's a whole different thing. So you're saying external pressure.
Of course, external pressures could influence behavior as well.
Wow. So you were able, so you all are constantly working on this right now. So it's an ongoing process. So there is hope. It's not like, okay, just end it.
Yes. So the thing is, so let me back up. So you identify the signs, but once you identify the signs, then you need to seek some kind of intervention to quell those tendencies, to avoid them escalating into,
Yeah, and then the parties
fatality.
need to be willing, as you said, as well.
The other issue I want to raise as I'm here, Verna, is the fact that we have had fatalities in the past where after the fact we heard that, that she was being abused or he was being abused. Why we didn't hear about it before? And a lot of times the knowledge comes from the family
or neighbors.
So that is something that we are asking persons to do. You can call us anonymously.
Good.
And we will intervene.
Great. What is the number that we can reach you at?
268-6078.
Great. And I understand that you'll have a big event coming up soon?
We have a big event coming up for the 25th of May. And let me take this opportunity to publicly thank His Worship Mayor of Port of Spain, Joel Martinez, and his team for offering us a space at City Hall to host this huge event. It's called Ratio 2018, Rejection, Anger, Sex, Insecurity, Obsession, Equal Abuse and Death. Later on, as I indicated offline, we would come back and talk more about it in terms of the approach, and we will be having some real-time solutions on that day.
Yes, no, we didn't get a chance to touch on sexual harassment, signs that women miss, but hopefully you'll be back soon so we can go through this. What are your closing comments would you like to say to those looking on?
I would just like to tell couples, just love. But sometimes in the process of loving, you have to take love and put it in the parking lot and try to fix the things that are preventing you from loving unconditionally and just living happy. We all have to coexist in a space.
Yes, thank you so much, Miss Adriana, Sandrine, Ratan. Always a pleasure to have you, no stranger to us here, and we certainly look forward to many more interviews with you. We take a short break and return with more. Stay tuned.